This is From Hero to Zero, a show about the misconception of the demise of the music industry. We talk to heroes to make sense of the alleged zero, the music business. Hi Ralf,
hey,
how you
nice
doing?
To meet you.
Nice
cool.
to meet you. Ralf, you're the lead vocalist for Primal Fear. You've been in many other projects over the years. You've been a musician since the 80s, if I'm correct, right?
Correct, yes, absolutely.
Where do you see the difference about being a musician today, 2016, compared to the 80s or 90s, basically before the internet came in?
Well, it makes no difference with or without the internet. When you're a musician, you are just creative, recording your stuff, no matter which media it is in the end. You know, nowadays, of course, the MP3 files is a lack of quality. So that's the reason why I always say buy CDs in the end, because you got a better quality. Yeah, but that's just the major difference in having a media. But as a musician, it's no difference. It's doing what I love to do the most. It was always the same. It's going out there, making music, creating music, composing music, and supporting it and delivering it to the people live.
Very cool. We received different comments from our viewers saying that today there seems to be a lack of opportunity for musicians, bands, newcomers, like also older bands, to play, so less venues. Do you agree with that, or do you see a difference there?
I only see the one point that it was always difficult, and it was always, always had to find a certain way. I mean, it was also not for us in the 80s, was also not easy, because there's a lot of competition going on, and even nowadays it's even more competition with all the bands out there, which are quality-wise really good. So you have to somehow do something special, which is also not so easy anymore. Everything has been there, every note has been played, every chord has been played. So it's what makes it so special is the unique thing you deliver as a band, and the unique sound you have, and the unique vocals, or also tone you have in an instrument. And that's the human part behind it. You know, it's only the human part behind it which matters.
Sure. We were talking about the internet before. 10 years ago, we received this social internet with Facebook and so on and so on. Do you use it as a musician yourself, or how do you go about that?
I use it, yes, because I mean it's a good platform to somehow promote yourself. If you have a business going on like we are in the music scene, it's always good to spread the news via Facebook, and also, I mean, I think that's one of your next questions. Collecting students also from Facebook, so as I'm teaching, and yes, it's a good thing. It always has advantages and disadvantages. Sometimes you really have to answer a lot of questions, and I'm a polite person, as I can say for myself, and I really try to answer as much as possible. It's simply when it's getting too much, I can't do it. Now, right now on the road, people asking me questions which I really can't answer anymore sometimes.
Sure. And I learned I think today, I saw an interview with you where you mentioned that you teach vocal lessons, you give vocal lessons, and the cool thing about it is I can ask you from somewhere else in the world and you teach me over Skype.
That's true.
How did you find the idea of teaching over Skype?
It's not, I didn't find it on my own. I mean, nowadays it's also a common thing that you have Skype going on, and Skype conversations. So you can do this via Skype. I always say to my students, it's not the best way. The best way is, of course, being together in one room. If you do a vocal lesson, and to hear your student, and to hear what's going on, and also breathing wise and so forth. Sometimes you have a little bit of a delay in Skype connection, but it's better than nothing. And it's also not only the teaching, sometimes it's also swapping and giving experiences from my career, what I do, how I breathe, and how I support, how I push the notes and so forth. And that's basically what I can deliver via Skype very good.
Mm-hmm. So you're a musician and a teacher. Do you always, was it a plan of yours to also teach? Maybe when you were younger you wanted to give something later on, or did it happen because you had free time from touring maybe?
It's now because it's also in my portfolio as a self-employed musician, and it's not so easy to only live from creating music and somehow releasing CDs anymore. So you have to find your different sectors, what you want to offer to people, fans, and also I don't know. Don't only teach metal screamers. I also do normal common singing like pop and so forth, because basically the basics are the same with breathing and so forth and intonation finding. So you can really teach them a lot from the basics. I mean, no matter if you do opera or pop music or heavy metal, it's all the same when it comes to breathing and so forth and the techniques around it.
Talking about branding, as I mentioned before, you've played with many different bands, Gamma Ray, for instance, in early 90s and so on. Do you, when you play with a different band, do you approach the brand Ralf Scheepers differently? Do you try different vocals, or do you perform differently on stage?
No, not at all. I mean, first of all, it's not so many bands I played in, so it's just my origin band, Tire and Pace, back then, starting recording vinyl CDs, vinyl records, and then there was Gamma Ray after Tire and Pace, and then came Primal Fear, with a little bit of a gap of some years. Coming back to your questions, when I open my mouth, I'm Ralf Scheepers, and if you try to change your voice too much, or if you want to sound like somebody, it wouldn't make any sense, because then it's not unique or original anymore. Of course, now people say, well, but you sound so very much like Rob Halford. Oh yes, I do, but it's somehow it's a certain way of singing. If it's called belting in the high notes, it's called belting the head voice, and if you do that, there's a certain unique sound. It's like Jeff Tate or Rob Halford, and also Tim Ripper-Owens, the heavy screamers. It's sounding very similar, but there's still different human beings behind it, and different thoughts, and also different somehow, like for instance, meal or wines, they also have different tastes. That's the same with vocals, with voices.
Coming back to technology, music streaming. In the 80s, it was said that video killed the radio star. Later on, it was said that internet killed the video star. Can we today say that music streaming killed the music star?
Well, I would say it's somehow, when it's still in a fair way, if you still get a little bit of a reward for what you creative, for your creative phases you have when you are composing an album, when you are recording it. It's not like you just do it at home with a laptop. It's possible to do it that way, but still you have to record it. And then it's somehow also a matter of quality, how you want to do it. We still go in studios, we still record the drums in big rooms and with big mixing desks and so forth. Everything else is of course also recorded at home, for instance my vocals, but I'm also in the studio, so it's also with a real microphone and also with real compressors and so forth. So you still have to record it no matter what media you have again recording it, So yeah, I mean, still you have. I can only repeat myself. Still, you have to give your input as a musician that it still sounded like it sounds. Yeah, but the initial question was, did internet destroy?
Basically, the music. Did it devalue the music? That's basically the question.
No, not at all. Because still people dig what you do, but it's just. It's a certain different approach when you are listening to music. You think, well, it sounds great, but I listened to it already, so I can have it for free because it's on YouTube or whatever. And that's not the fair thing behind it, That's if an album is leaking, like it happened to our album 3 weeks before the release. It's somehow like really, it's all what you've done is all of a sudden destroyed, because of course we still like that people like it, what they hear, but when they hear it for free, it's different because, I mean, you know, we're doing this as for a living too, and I wouldn't go to a shop and just grab a shampoo or whatever. Hey, I can have it for free, why not, you know? I don't need a shampoo anymore, but anyway, I think you know what I mean, you know, you get my point, right?
Definitely, definitely. And last question. Technology enables us today to just buy one song at a time, or listen, stream one song at a time instead of a whole album. As Prince has said, I don't know, a few years back, album still matters. Do you think so? Do albums still matter?
I also think so in one way, because it makes sense, especially as for like metal music stuff, to hear the whole thing. It wouldn't make so much sense to just get one song out, and maybe there's even a story behind the whole album. For some people have that still. We had it too, the Black Sun album. But on the other hand, when the one song you get is bought, I have no problem with it, you know. But I still get the point behind it, because you have a whole book. You don't just go ahead and read one page or one chapter and then put it back in the shelf or whatever. So it's the same with an album. Wouldn't make any sense.
Very nicely said. Well, Ralf, thank you very much. It was very interesting, and all the best.
Thank you too. Cool. So enjoy.